Hi, I'm Janine Strawn of Tiny House Solutions and Green Design Solutions. I've got a few houses to show you as Sustainable House Day virtual tour. So today I'm going to show you my tiny house prototype, and this is just one example of what you can do and what I provide people in my tiny houses. So let's have a look. Let's get started. So in this tiny house, it's a 6-metre tiny house on wheels. It's fitted with thermally broken double glazed windows and a door. The doors in tiny houses need to open out because at this point in time they are deemed as a caravan, and you need to have them openable to the curb side of the road. It's also got a 5-speed ceiling fan. It's got an infrared heater which uses 800 watts to heat the tiny house. Tiny houses are small living spaces, and as a result of that, they can heat up very quickly, which is really efficient. But also because of their size, they can also cool down very quickly as well. So with good cross-flow ventilation, the use of ceiling fans, you can certainly purge some of that, and also maybe some high-fitted or high-light windows. You can certainly purge some of that heated air that comes into the house. The double glazed windows are there because they help to keep the heat in. They've got a low U value. They help to keep the heat in, but through the solar heat gain coefficient on these windows, they also help to keep the summer sun coming on it. Now, typically what I would recommend is people to actually park their tiny house under shade where possible. That's not always possible. And so if that isn't the case, at least consider putting out some shade sails for the summertime to help prevent the tiny house from heating up too much. It's also fitted with bamboo bench tops, the composting toilet. It's got a choice of 2 sleeping areas, either on the loft or on the ground floor. It really depends on what people's preferences, but this is just an example. You can do Murphy beds and elevator beds, full lofts, or beds just permanently fixed on the ground. On the ground floor. We've also got a fiberglass shower cubicle as well as external shading. So here is mine. It was originally constructed to be under the shade of eucalypt trees, which was, provided certainly great shading for the summertime, but it's been moved, and obviously, as you can see, we're not under a tree, but we certainly do have lots of shade sails. In this case, we've got a shade sail coming off here. We've also got one off to the west, and we've also got one off on the other side as well. Depending on what it is that's piquing your interest about tiny houses, if it's for an Airbnb, if it's for your own accommodation and permanent dwelling, then you might want to extend and create some outdoor living area because, as the name suggests, tiny houses are tiny. So you really want to make sure that you've also got some good outdoor entertainment or living area as well. And this is just the space that we've created for our tiny house. So our tiny house has been on Airbnb for the last couple of years. It's extremely popular because this has been located in the Macedon Ranges. We're just about to move it though down to the Surf Coast in Torquay. So we're really looking forward to sharing that experience with a whole lot of other people down there as well. So as you can see, the outdoor living area, it's got deck with steps and a barbecue. Inside, we've got a separated bathroom, which is through this wall. We've got a shower on this right-hand side and a toilet and a vanity in front of that door. The bench tops here are bamboo, as I mentioned, which is extremely durable, but they are a bit heavy. So you've got to take into account, whenever you're designing and building a tiny house, you've always got to take into account every single weight of everything that goes into the build. So I know that even with furniture, excluding the TV and the microwave and the cutlery and the crockery, that mine came in at 3.2 tonnes for a 6-metre. If I had built this out of a timber frame construction, I'd probably be over the 3.5 tons, or I'd be pretty close to the 3.5 ton capacity. So mine is using a structurally insulated panel system. That's what I offer. It's really, it's quick to construct, it's highly thermally efficient, and also very, very low maintenance. And it can be built to what we call a bow level of 40, which is a bushfire attack level of 40, which is pretty high. I wouldn't really recommend people living in the bush, you know, in a highly bushfire prone area, because obviously there's safety concerns with that. And certainly if you do find yourself living in the bush in a tiny house, and in the event of a fire, please, please don't take your tiny house with you on the road. It is a big vehicle, it's a big structure, and you know, people don't think clearly in the event of a bushfire. So please leave it behind and go and save yourself. So this is our bed down below. We've actually got two what we call banquettes, which are couches that pull together. They get locked into place, and then a mattress goes over the top of that. We've got wardrobe space on each side, and also cupboard space at the bottom as well. It's a 2-burner ceramic cooktop with a range hood, so it's, you know, got sufficient cooking facilities. Like I had a lady stay in the tiny house with me for 3 months last summer, and this was adequate for her, and also microwave as well. Here you can just see the banquets underneath here. Really nice mood lighting. You could have also done this bed as a Murphy bed, which is a pull down bed at the end. And I was toying with that idea, but in the end I decided to do these banquettes and pull them together. We've got 1200 bench top over this side, and we've got about 2.4, close to, yeah, over 2.4 meters of bench top on that side. The key thing about designing a tiny house is also understanding what cooking appliances you're going to have now, as you're designing, because are you going to go with a gas cooktop, or are you going to go with an electric cooktop, because that will influence the spacing or your location of windows. You can't put gas cooktops, from a caravan perspective, you can't put them in front of windows without sufficient clearance and height. Also the same being the case with clearance from power points from electrical and gas outlets as well. So you need to be understanding or thinking about, planning ahead, what sort of cooking systems you're going to have. You might have an oven with the hot plates, and just make sure that they're, if it's gas, make sure it's really far enough away from the window itself. We've got blinds as well right throughout the tiny house to help, you know, keep that heat in, and also provide nighttime privacy as well. This is made of plywood flooring, which has been really great because we've been able to insulate underneath it as well, with polystyrene boards. You can have a table, obviously, you know, that can actually sit about 5-6 people around that table. Oh, and also here, this is the infrared heater panel that I have not only in this tiny house, my other tiny houses, but also in my clients' normal houses that I build I design sustainably designed homes, and that's what we have in those homes. The banquettes allow you to make up a number of different ways where you can sit and lounge around. It's fitted with, you know, TV and microwave. The loft upstairs is, as I said, this could be another sleeping area. It is accessed by a ladder, but other ones, you know, I've designed have stairs. This is from the loft looking down. So there's so many different configurations you can do in a tiny house, which is really exciting. My tiny houses I use skillion roofs. This is a different angle skillion roof. I now only have the skillion roof that has a really long skillion on one side, and it's so it's a higher on one side, and it's lower just on the other long side as well. And that allows you to have 2 lofts if you really want, or maybe just one single loft but a bit more headspace, or maybe 1 storage loft and 1 sleeping loft. It's so many different options available to you. This is our fiberglass cubicle. We've also designed accessible tiny houses, so a step-free access into the shower, wet areas, so full wet areas we're providing, and non-slip surfaces, so people who want to age in their tiny house or have lower mobility issues, then they can, you know, this is much better for them. Also, the space in front of the toilet is 1200 millimeters in front of it, so if they are in a wheelchair, they can move from, or a walker, they can easily utilize the services in the bathroom. Also, it has a wider doorway opening as well. So, you know, we're really trying to design tiny houses for all ages and all demographics of our society, because there are a lot of opportunities for people to, you know, not only downsize, but also get into the housing market. So that's who I am, Janine Strawn of Tiny House Solutions, as well as Green Design Solutions. And if you would like to explore further about tiny houses, please feel free to give me a call. Here's my email. And I will, I hope you enjoy the rest of your tour. And yeah, let me know if I can be of any assistance. Bye-bye.